Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your hosts Edward McQueen and April Garner.
Somebody said we were live.
We are live, Brother Edward. How are you today?
Good. What about you? Glad you got my glasses on, your favorite glasses.
I wear them just for you.
Oh, thank you so much. Welcome to our program, all of our viewers, and we really want to welcome you today. Ever so often, we need to get the opportunity to kind of brief all of South Carolina, in Horry County, and especially Conway, on what the happenings are around here. But usually, and we do still have special guests, and we got one today, someone who's really going to bring us out with one of the issues that has been bugging a lot of people, and we're glad that he's here to kind of help to disseminate all the information that hopefully you all would send comments on and want to know about. Okay, so our co-host, I'll say our co-host, is April Garner. April's going to help facilitate all this stuff. Okay, so April, let's get right to it tonight and this evening. And of course, you know who we got as our guest who comes on and just spits it all out. My brother Marcus. Mm-hmm. He'll be with us.
Yes, absolutely.
So for tonight, this evening, we've got someone, like I said earlier, Mr. Ashley Smith. He's of the Conway Sports and Fitness Center, and he's over the Horry County Recreation, I believe, right, April?
Well, why don't we bring you? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, let's bring him on. Okay.
All right.
What do you say?
Do you want to start with Marcus, or what do you want to do? How do you want to do it?
Okay. Well, I think Marcus says. I'm going to use the word colloquial, a heap of information. Okay.
Yes, he does. He does.
I'm sure everybody can use. So Mike, let's bring Marcus on. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we want to remind our viewers that if you have any questions or comments for our guests, please drop them into the comment section on Facebook or YouTube, and we will moderate those questions for our guests. They're able to see the questions as well, so they may chime in if they see a comment or a question that they have the ability to answer this evening. We have with us, of course, our WCM Live correspondent, Marcus McCullough, and then we have Ashley Smith and Janice Mammy Hopkins from the Conway Sports and Fitness Center, and we're going to have a really good conversation tonight. We're going to, of course, have Marcus with his, he always gives us 3 great things. Conway congratulations, the city council and county council meeting updates, and then he also gives us community news. And Ashley and Janice are going to be here to talk about all things Smith Jones and some updates. And I understand it's going to be a really good conversation tonight. So let's bring Marcus on, and then maybe he can kind of segue us into the conversation with Ashley and Mammy. How about that? Hey, Marcus, how are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back once again.
All right.
Yeah, so a lot of people know that on yesterday's meeting, it was supposed to be scheduled for the Planning and Zoning Commission to bring up the issue about the building complex and the building project that was going to take place with Healthcare Partners and Dollar General. So I came to bring a little bit of news. On yesterday at about 1 o'clock, Healthcare Partners of South Carolina decided that they wanted to rescind their planning and zoning request.
What?
Not at the time when the request was rescinded, there wasn't any, knowledge of why, any explanation, anything of that nature. But I did a little bit of digging, and I contacted some other resources today. And it turns out that Jim Eubanks, the CEO of Healthcare Partners, said that it was best in the interest of all parties involved to also preserve all that the city of Conway has built as far as their planning and zoning missions and things they want to accomplish, that they will go back to the drawing board and figure out the better course of action. Because like I said, when I first reported on the issue, this was a 2-party deal. Mm-hmm. And there was no problem at all from city council on Healthcare Partners. They had no problem with Healthcare Partners. The issue primarily came from what they were going to do as far as developing and moving the Dollar General. That was the biggest problem. Mm-hmm. Because Healthcare Partners did pretty much all their stuff, as far as to my knowledge, to have everything prepared for them to start, their production and building and everything. They had a lot of donations of equipment and things of that nature. But Dollar General was seeming to be the holdup. But it's like City Council said, they've worked really hard to put things in place that are going to help beautify the city and make our community a better place. Because I believe this Will Goldfinch said this. He said, we can't make an emotional decision knowing that the people that sat before us in these seats were thinking and planning 50 years down the road for the city of Conway. And now that what they finally planned and put into action is starting to come to vision, they don't want to be the city council group that messed it all up and started letting people come in and change the way that things were run. Yesterday at the meeting, Councilman Goldfinch bought an aerial picture of Conway from 1965. Now, in that picture, you could see there was a lot of abandoned storefronts and buildings, rubble all over the place, and there were only 2 trees in the entire downtown corridor. Only 2 trees in the entire downtown corridor. I mean, it looked like a dust bowl. To be frank, it looked like a dust bowl. It wasn't appealing. It wasn't something that people would want to stop in and move into. It looked like a rundown small town. Now, fast forward almost 60 years, Conway's this beautiful place, all this wonderful greenery. You have murals and paintings on the sidewalks. You have alleyways that are, very well furbished and floored and everything, making them look really appealing to the people to make it seem like a more inviting community. And he said that was one of the main reasons why a lot of the city council members and other people in the planning and zoning commissions and committees were making sure that they weren't going to get railroaded by somebody from out of town trying to come in and do whatever they saw as would be acceptable. Not beneficial, but acceptable. They wanted to do the bare minimum. Mm. And they weren't going to settle for that. And I really do commend city council and the mayor for that, because they realize money's nice. But 50 years down the road, that one company's money would have seriously changed the landscape and what people perceived of our area when they came to do business. There wouldn't be a high standard for business, and I really do commend them for that. That was a very big issue. A lot of people, but I will admit this: there were a lot of people who were in attendance at the meeting yesterday due to people sending it out text messages and group messages, people announcing it in church. A lot of local reverends were telling people in churches about it, and that was great.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe people should come more frequently to the meetings to know about other things that are taking place. There are a lot of other big topic issues that affect us all daily that people miss out on and won't hear anything about it unless they watch our show or even read it in a paper or hear it from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
If you're there, you get firsthand knowledge yourself of what's going to take place and what's happening in our area. And it may not seem like they all add up to be big and important, but each one of those small tidbits of knowledge can really be impactful on our day-to-day life living in Horry County and the city of Conway.
I think that I think it's great that you're encouraging people to attend, and if you see that there is a increase or an uptick in attendance since you've been, going to the meetings or whatever, I don't know that it's totally attributed to us, but maybe people are becoming more aware of issues and they're valuing the information that and the messages that we're sending out. Because if you think about it, a lot of the discussions as of late have been all about, economic development, infrastructure, community preservation and all of that. And so, I think it's encouraging if more people are coming, and hopefully, they'll spread the word. I know one of the things that was always a factor, people would say, well, the meetings happen when they, it's hard for them to make it to the meetings in person because of the time. They're at work or coming from work or whatever the case is. And if I'm not mistaken, you said that the meetings are televised or they're available on like a live stream, or, can people see them if they're able to make it?
There's multiple different platforms for people to see the city council meetings on. Also, they have agendas and minutes. So you can follow along on certain topics that are laid out in the meeting. So you'll know at what point they're at and what they're talking about. And it has more detailed description. Mm-hmm. But the city of Conway, on their website, you can go to the More tab at the bottom, and it has archived every city council meeting. And they have it organized by year. Mm-hmm. So people can go, if somebody mentioned something from a particular meeting maybe a month ago that will be coming into effect now, they'd be having a planning and zoning commission vote on, or a first reading and approval, you would be able to look back, see when they were going to have the reading and approval, so you could be in attendance to speak on behalf of that issue. Because like I said, there is a lot of public input section in the city council meeting. Matter of fact, just yesterday, there was a couple from the Rosehaven community on 378 behind Rose Hill Cemetery. For anybody who's not familiar, it's behind Rose Hill Cemetery and Smith Jones Park. And it was an elderly white couple, and they said it just as plain as possible. They said they complained that the city of Conway needs to do better on beautifying other sections of the city besides just downtown. Mind, these people are not from here. They have not lived here their entire lives. The man said himself, they moved here because of how nice it looked downtown. And there's a lot of different things that take place in the city of Conway as far as, keeping it clean and beautifying Conway, things of that nature, but it doesn't come out to that corridor of town. Most of the events take place in town.
Right.
The garbage pickups and planting trees and planting flowers, things of that nature, just volunteer work, that doesn't really take place on that side of town. And he was saying that anywhere from Woodmore Park Middle School all the way down to Walmart and further looks nothing like it would look when you came into downtown in the 4th Avenue corridor. That was
maybe the people are waiting on your narratives and a summary of things that had happened. You do as well. Okay, maybe if that is the case, then maybe that's what they're waiting on instead of just going to the TV, the local TV, or waiting on other news media. So just feel free to know that you're quote unquote propagating that information out there that people like to hear. Okay, and your narration of it seems to be quite efficient and effective, obviously. So maybe every week they're waiting on you to come up. Well, not every week, but every other week when they have the city council and meeting like that. So kudos to you.
Thank you, sir.
So I'll let you go ahead and finish. Sorry.
No, you fine. I appreciate it. Thank you. But a lot of people don't understand that what happens here in the city of Conway, like they said, is not just here to affect us for today or the next 5 years. They're looking at this in a decade perspective, decades down the road from now. What's going to take place when some of us aren't even here anymore? We're trying to set a standard for our children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren for years to come on what the city of Conway is supposed to look like. And that's actually another segue into my next point. There's a major issue that was addressed by the mayor of people stealing plants, potted plants, and other shrubs and things of that nature in the ground around the city of Conway. People are literally stealing them. People are going and digging up flowers and stealing potted plants and trees from the city of Conway. Yes, I know it seems very jovial and ridiculous, but the sad part about it is to flourish an area like the city of Conway costs hundreds and thousands of dollars. It costs a lot of money. And if people see this happening and don't say anything, that's going to add more and more money into the local city tax because they have to pay for it. They have to have that. If you look on a street corner and there's a whole flower bed and a small tree there, and you go back 2 days later and it's all gone, it has to be replaced. Because then that just takes away from the whole beautification of the city. And the mayor made sure to emphasize to people that if they see this happening, make sure to report it. And that anybody who was caught doing this will be persecuted to the fullest extent of the law possible.
All right.
I didn't even think that would be something that would have to be brought up at all. I didn't think that would be something that was a major issue, but sadly it is. And then I got one last point before I'm going to segue into our guest. Political signs. Everybody knows it's local election season.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very prominent time right now. A lot of people are seeing signs out. People are starting to make commercials and have events, things of that nature. For anybody who doesn't know, there are over 52 seats up for election that we can vote for in this area. 52. And there's seats on the national level and local level, most on the state level. There's 8 school board seats open.
Wow. 8. Wow.
There's county council seats open. County council chairman is open. The Soil and Water Commission is open. You have the House of Representatives open. Congress vote open. There's a lot of different spots that are open for election, and you see all these signs, and a lot of people don't take time to truly read them. See, when they get to the election booth, they remember, oh yeah, I saw their name on the side of the road. That's who I'm going to pick. But see, what they don't understand is the people who put those signs out and have signs everywhere have more financial funding to be able to do so. When sometimes those are not the people who you get further down the road and you realize I shouldn't have voted for this person. That's even more reason to do research on who you're voting for and what positions, what experience they have, what businesses they tied into, what organizations are they a part of. You need to find out background, not only political background, but social and economic background on these people, because then you'll be able to tell if what they're doing is going to be beneficial to you and the community, or if it's just for economic gain. That's the biggest issue. And the mayor spoke on that yesterday as well, because people were putting signs out in the city of Conway already, but you can't put signs out in the city limits of Conway until tomorrow. What they don't realize is that's illegal. They can't do that.
Are they fined if they do that?
$1,100 per sign.
Ooh. Wow.
$1,100 per sign. But the signs will be returned to you. But when they get returned to the candidate or their campaign manager, or whatever, you get
nice little invoice
nice
for
pink
that
slip with a total at the bottom. And you cannot place any more signs in the downtown city limits of Conway or any area of Conway, right-of-ways, anything of that nature, until you pay the fine. They have a crew solely devoted to removing those signs from high-traffic areas.
Wow. I think you made a critical point of just a moment ago about understanding the candidate platforms, because we're supposed to be informed voters, and even though we see from time to time in the political arena that a lot of times it's all about popularity, it really should be more about platform.
That's right.
And I think that this election, to my understanding, is critical for a lot of reasons. And it's more important for people to really understand also what's at stake if they don't vote the right way. So, now's the time to, have that voter education, or to amp up the voter education. And for, I think candidates who are really serious about, their voters or their constituents, for them to really turn it up. And as Brother Edward, kind of talks about how you bring it home with the way that you report the news, I think candidates need to come down from that top level political type of language that they use and really talk in a grassroots kind of way to people, so that they understand what the platforms are all about, versus all this the political ease that tends to go over some people's heads. I mean, there are things that they talk about and it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm like, break it down for us, sister. Okay, what you trying to do for us? What you trying to do for the community? That kind of thing. So become an informed voter and do the research, and especially if you see signage or whatever for new candidates that you have never heard of ever. It's like, who is this person and where'd they come from? They may be the next big solution in terms of being a great political candidate, but if we don't know who they are, they won't get the support that they need. And so that part is really important. Just become an informed voter.
Right. And see, and to piggyback off what you just said, when we talk about informed voters, that doesn't necessarily just mean understanding the person. See, every election that takes place has some kind of political party, bipartisan tie to it. Mm-hmm. Even down at the level of the school board. The school board election, when people broadcast it, they're going to run for the school board, they make sure to put a tag in what party they associate with. Mm-hmm. But due to the fact that people are not informed voters, a lot of people will just go and say, oh, okay, this person is for the party that I like, the party that I choose, and they'll support them. But sometimes it's beyond parties. Yeah. You really have to do your research on the person. If somebody wants to run for school board, see how much they know about schools. Mm-hmm. See what year their children were in school. Because if somebody's running for school board who was 75 years old and was never a teacher, and their kids haven't been in school for 25 years, they won't understand at all the technology aspect of school and the new learning and the new ways of learning that they have in schools. They won't be able to comprehend that. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure you really do your full research on these people who are running for these offices, because they affect you, your family, and generations to come.
That's right.
And same thing with the county council chairman. You got finally for the first, I looked at it earlier. There has not been a woman sitting on the Horry County Council in 11 years. Mm. Mind you, that's a whole over a decade. There has not been a woman on the Horry County Council.
You sure about that?
Yeah, 11 years. I couldn't believe it myself. It's been 11 years. The last time a woman held a seat on county council was 2011.
Who was the woman?
I can't recall her name now.
No, okay. Mm-hmm.
But the sad part about it is, it's not, there's no sexism involved in it or anything of that nature, but still, that shows you that there's somewhat of a clique system within that organization of the Horry County County Council. So you really need to do your research on your candidates and look at your communities.
Yep.
Look and see what they've done for your community. What have they done? Anything they've promised? Have they made any improvements? Are things staying the same? Are things declining? If you voted people into office who aren't doing anything to help be proactive and productive in your community, then what good are they doing sitting there? What's the purpose of somebody holding a seat when somebody else could be in the position to change something.
That's true.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
All right.
So, Marcus, we have some special guests with us, and I know that we wanted to bring them on so we could talk about,
For sure,
other things that are happening in the community, things that are definitely worth talking about and that need some time tonight. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Ashley Smith and Janice Hopkins. They're with the Conway Sports and Fitness Center. How y'all doing?
Oh, bless.
Awesome. Y'all looking good.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. And we see the work that you're doing in the community. I'm always checking out your Facebook posts, and you always have some great community events. The turnouts are large. So you're making an impact.
Thank you.
Yeah. Y'all the dream team, huh, Ashley? Can you hear me, Ashley?
Ashley, can you hear us, Ashley?
We can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you.
You was talking a little earlier. You can't hear? Go out and come back in.
Okay. Turn it off.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
No, not the camera.
He's gonna.
Not the camera.
He'll come back. Exactly. So, Janice, first of all, we definitely can get some updates from you. How's it been working at the Conway Sports and Fitness Center? You really have created your own blueprint and footprint there, and from the Easter egg hunts to the trunk or treats and everything else that you're having to engage the community, the kids, and recently, now that the weather's all nice and warm, you all had an event out there recently, and I know it just seems to be right up your alley. It's like it's just naturally something for you, and you and Ashley are working well together. So tell us, how things going there?
Everything's going well because pretty much everything we do. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, pretty much everything that we do is revolving around the kids.
I can hear you. Okay.
So we go from camp 1 minute egg hunt, back to school, giveaway, feeding the kids. Now we had a class that's study hall, but when COVID came, it's like it slowed it down. So we're hoping that we can get over this hump, and hopefully we're going to bring the study hall back. But Reverend Falk came. They came during the Martin Luther King event, and I gave them a tour because it was like they didn't realize what was going on at the Conway Rec Center.
Right.
And when I say, Ashley will be like, "Hey, we got anything in there where we can feed the kids?" I say, "Okay, let's get on it." We'll get on it because when they come out there, their parents drop them off from morning till time of closing.
Wow.
And we don't let nobody leave out unless we know parents are there to pick them up, or if the parent get there, they have to come and say, "Okay, well, I got him," so we know. And if they're gonna come back in, it has to be signed in by a parent. Half of the kids that come, they don't have a money to get in, but Mr. Ashley and a lot of the workers, we get there. Okay, we got them. Don't worry about them because they're kids. They are kids. But one thing I want to say to the community got to start looking at the city page where they'll know what's going on. Because when I say the events are out there, we're doing them and they're free. Because Mr. Smith makes sure it get done. He makes sure. So if he's making sure, that means Mammy got to buckle up and get to it. so I put on the shoes. We get our little crew and we say, "All right, this is what we got to do." Because we got to make sure the kids are taken care of. And that's one thing I would say since I've been there. I honestly would like to thank Ashley because when I started off, it was all about the kids, but now I'm working, you can say through the community with all the kids. So we go from, if it means I'm gonna go out to door and knock and see if, okay, do you need some food, or we're feeding, can we give you this plate, or when I say we're doing it, and whatever my mind come up with, he go, okay, do it. So, and I be ready, because my mom always raised me. We took people off the street into our homes, clothe them, feed them, you name it, we did it. So it's nothing changed, because Ashley allowed me to do it. And as long as he allowed me to do it, I'm going to continue to do it. But I will say this, please pay attention to the city page. Because whatever we got to offer is for everybody. Everybody.
Well, what you described is what they call servant leadership, and you like you said, you're working for everyone in the community, and it shows. It's apparent. It really is apparent. I like that idea of the study hall, because our kids need that, especially post COVID, when the learning gaps and achievement gaps are very wide because of all the things that were happening with COVID. And things that they missed along the way. So, you're incorporating the academics into it. I mean, that's a win-win for the kids. Definitely.
Yes. And when I say they're there, I mean, from time school get out, if they're walking from school, they're in that gym. And like I say, y'all know me as Mammy. So when the kids see me, there go Aunt Mammy, because they know Aunt Mammy don't play. It takes a village. It takes a village to raise kids now. So they'll be like, there go Aunt Mammy. Okay, that's right. We're not doing nothing here. Okay, so are y'all good? And if they get hungry, they'll come in there. Ashley will give them some money. I'll give them money. The workers will give them money. Because I know when those parents drop them off and they'll come pick them up later. But we make sure they get taken care of. We make sure they get taken care of.
Yeah. So just give me maybe a suggestive way of addressing your issue of getting that information out there about what you all are doing. Maybe you want to correlate with Marcus on each time, and then Marcus could be a vehicle in addition to them putting it on your screen or wherever other venue you're using right now, which apparently is not working. So there's just a suggestion I would throw out there.
So what do you mean by what do you mean that it's not working?
For lack of a better word, the way you expressed it, you said that you put it out there, and then if parents only knew or something like that. So
parents, what they do, they drop them off. They got to come in and say, okay, how they doing? We have a couple of parents. They'll get on. When I say they gets on the phone and we call the kids out on the loudspeaker. That parent makes sure he's there or she's there. So, it's just some of them probably don't take the time. But I tell you, if they would take the time to ask their kids will tell them, we've been out to the rec. Because, they don't go home. They come from the school and check in. And then later on, they might call their parent and say, can you pick me up, or they'll catch a ride. And that's when we come into play, because we know if they're there all day, these kids haven't eaten. So we make sure that it's taken care of. And it takes, today in society, most people don't want to give you nothing, but it takes a big person that gonna take money out of their pocket. Now, take the money out of their pocket to feed somebody else kid, but that's where it goes into play, where we're talking about a village. Because I was raised like that. I was raised like that. Ashley, just like Ashley father coached me. And the same way I do with these kids is what he did to me. He was more like a father figure. Although I had my dad there, him and Coach Starks was more like a father figure. They made sure I got taken care of. So that's what I do. I give back.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I, when I say the wreck, oh, they get it. Mammy, you got something to eat in there? Mammy, you got something to drink? I said, okay, let me go in here. Ashley said, okay, go ahead. We got them.
Right. Well,
We got
Ashley, let me ask you this, Ashley. Did you ever imagine that the sports and fitness center would really turn into like a community haven or a safe haven for these kids? Or was that a part of your goal or your vision? You know, because what Mammy's talking about is more than just sports and fitness. It really is like a community center. It's where, you know, and if these if the kids are coming there as a regular part of their routine after school, I think that's great, because you know what? The alternative is they're out in the streets doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And I think, to, you know, Mammy's point about the going to the website and checking out what's happening, I believe that her point on that was more about the parents being informed of what's going on at the sports and fitness center, so that, you know, they could take advantage of what you're offering. So Ashley, you know, has this turned into what you imagined it would be, or has it turned into something more? And now you have this, you know, huge responsibility, but you guys are taking care of it well. So tell us about that.
Both. When I was on city council, that was one of the things I wanted to do. I always heard it was a country club, that the sports and fitness center was a country club only for certain people. And we, as a council, when I was on it, my big platform was to lower the prices, to be able to get the kids in, not at $10 to play basketball, but for $2. And now we got it for $5 a month. They can come in and swim. They can come in and play basketball. They can get something to eat. They can see Aunt Mammy. And you see why. She was the first person I hired. Whenever I got to the sports and fitness center, I called her in and I said, we got to do this. And like, she's that person. So she makes it easy for me, because she doesn't like to talk, as you saw. She doesn't like to talk.
No, she doesn't. Yeah.
Very shy. Yeah, she likes to talk. And I didn't really want to come back home, because I was worried about
Could have fooled me.
No. What Marcus was saying, I couldn't get my phone fixed, so I'm waiting for that jab to come. Hopefully in a text message, not live, but I know that's probably coming. But we do a lot of things, and we're going to get better at getting it out to the community. I think that, you know, I get frustrated when I hear people say there's nothing to do in Conway. There's nothing to do for my kids to do. We can't do anything. Well, you know, it's right down the street. The Smith Jones Pool is one of the most frustrating things I think that I've dealt with in my life, because I grew up there. I swam there. They put it there in 1970. I remember the third day I moved to Conway from Graniteville, South Carolina. Brucey Jones and Pete Wilkes and Pete. We call him Pete. I don't know. We went swimming there. So that was like in 83, 84. But that pool's 50 years old. There were mistakes that were made, but when it popped out, it was time for it to get fixed anyway. And I think it's going to be a blessing for the city of Conway, because the pool that we're putting back in is going to be better than ever. And we're also adding a splash pad. That area, it's going to be an attraction area.
Okay.
It's going to be a destination area. And again, at city council, when I was sitting right behind Marcus, and when the couple from Rosehaven came up and spoke, it kind of touched the nerve with me, because if you go to city council and speak, and you need to, don't get me wrong, but you need to be informed of what you say, because sometimes when you say stuff, it keeps dividing people. You start talking about this side of the street, that side of the street. It's done here, it's not done there. Adam Emmert, the city administrator, has made it a priority. And some things that are done in the city, a lot of times people don't realize that it's done. The fixing of the sidewalks. There's been millions of dollars spent on the 378 corridor. It's nothing that you can see. It's not a pretty flower, but it's some stuff is being done. And you know, that's it offends me a little bit. Not offends, that's one of those words. But you know, we're trying to make the city of Conway, this is a new downtown. I want to make the area of the Sports and Fitness Center the new downtown, where we have festivals, where we have people to come down. We were supposed to have the Juneteenth festival at our place, and I was excited about it. I just learned today that they're moving it downtown Conway. So, and that's good. I mean, I'm glad that, you know, people will be experienced and be able to see different things. But I was excited to have it, you know, in my parking lot, and that's what I love about Mammy. We'll have events that she'll put together in a week. And she had no, and people say, well, when I was hiring her, that she didn't have experience to doing this. I'm like, you don't understand. She's got life experience.
Correct.
She's got,
and she's a community person.
She's a community person, and she's got
Connect.
it. And they always say people got it. Football players got it. Well, she's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And us together, it's not me by no means. It's Mammy, it's Karen Johnson, Michael Moody, Junior Hemingway. They bring a lot to the table, and it makes my job easy. And Mammy and I sometimes argue a little bit. Our last argument we got into about 6 or 7 feet.
You're wrong,
that I was building for. But the thing is, if you give Mammy tools and you give people tools, then everybody wins. And that's what we want. We want kids to come into the pool, black, white, Hispanic, everybody. And it again, Mammy and I talk about it, and it gets frustrating when you build up and you get it going, and it just crashes down because somebody does something stupid. So I get emotional about it, but somebody take over. I'm about to lose it.
Well, I'll jump in.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Marcus. Mm-hmm.
I frequent the rec department, the sports and fitness center a lot. Me and my friends play our monthly pickup basketball game there. I mean, we've been out of high school 4 years coming up now, and we frequent there. And listen, don't start. He's saying that because I play against his son sometimes. But we go there, and I mean, we grew up there playing rec ball and all these different sports and everything, and it was nowhere near as welcoming as it is now. The second you hit the door, at least 3 people that work at the sports and fitness center will speak to you. And the duo at the bottom of this screen, they've done so much for the community. I mean, they've done things that have excelled what any of us have even comprehended, like a floating egg hunt. Who would have thought about having an egg hunt in the pool?
That's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, stuff like that outside the box. It's amazing. They have multiple different things. They had y'all had three egg hunts this year? 3 different
We
ones?
gave away 24,000 eggs.
Wow.
Exactly. Who would have thought that for the youth of the city of Cotton? It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, if anybody knows anything about the community, it's these 2 people at the bottom. And Mr. Ashley was so adamant after yesterday's meeting when that man came up and talked about how Smith Jones Pool and Park looked and everything. He was like, please, I want to get on the show. I want to bring Mammy with me. I want to really tell people about what's going on, what we have planned, and all we're doing. And, you can notice everything they do around town and in the community because the kids are a lot more involved. You can see how many kids. They had their second sports jamboree for spring sports. 600 kids this time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like 800 in the first one?
Yes.
I mean, that's almost 1,500 kids involved in rec sports. These are different kids, mind you, not the same kid. These are 1,500 almost kids playing rec sports in the city of Conway. And that's amazing, and I really like to commend that duo. I mean, they do so much for our area, and they're really the unsung heroes of the city of Conway.
Well, Marcus, I appreciate that, and you know what I think about you. I mean, that Eminem is the next mayor. I mean, I'm going to tell you that. But it seems sometimes that we get pigeonholed in that foxhole about being sports, all about sports, because not everybody plays sports.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not everybody's as athlete as I am. I mean, they're not. But we have kids that we're doing art classes, we're doing painting, we're doing stuff. I'm trying to get into the music portion of it. How to mix, to play the trumpet, and that's definitely outside of my realm of knowledge. But between Mammy, between our team, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that can do that, and we want everybody to succeed because this is the best time of their life. I mean, I remember when I was 13, 14 years old. And you're playing with your friends, you're swimming at the pool, you're doing fun stuff, and you don't have to worry about all the politics and all the stuff that all the grown-ups do. And that's what we want to do. We want to get them to come back and work for us, to come back and be a summer camp worker, to be to be the recreation director. And I promise you, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You just put your mind to it, it can be done. Because I was on city council for 3 years, and this opportunity came, and I was not going to do it because to me it looked funny. It looked like, oh, he's on city council, they're giving him a job. But then when it happened, I said, you know what, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to hire my people. I'm going to make it about the community, not about a country club. And we're going to turn this thing around. And our membership has risen 27%. We got kids and adults getting along. And a lot of times that's tough. And you got kids that are loud. 14, 15-year-old kids playing basketball, they're going to be loud. Older people working out, and they get it. Everybody gets it. And that's what you got to have. You got to have the right hand and the left hand pulling together. And if you don't, then you're going to stay the same place, and we'll be having the same conversations 50 years from
Yes.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you all have kind of stretched your borders, and like you said, you've become more than sports and fitness. And I think that that's a part of that. That's something that's really lacking in the area is the embrace of the arts and creating the cultural awareness. And so having these really creative events to bring the communities together. And just like you said, it would have been great to have Juneteenth in your parking lot maybe next year, because that is definitely one way that others would have been introduced to the African American culture and the history behind Juneteenth. And and I also think that when you were talking about all of the things that you are offering, my thought was, when I think about even the ad that runs in the magazine, it's the picture of the building and it's sports and fitness, and you really wouldn't know that you have all of these offerings. And so you have such a tremendous opportunity to, be creative with that and to show, what it is that you are offering. I think it's also a tremendous opportunity to invite people from the community to come in and help you all with these things. And that was going to be my next question. What can the community do to support the Sports and Fitness Center, especially with these other endeavors that involve the arts and anything else that you want to introduce to them? Because definitely the study component, I know some people, for example, who they want to get into the school systems to try and help young people who have deficits in certain areas. But if they can come to the fitness center and do that, I mean, that's kind of like a no-brainer, and then because the fitness center is even going to be more enticing as even an after-school outlet, but also it's a way to introduce, that child to what you all are doing, but also to introduce the person who's interested in being a part of that, to just a different way of educating. There's so many things, my wheels are turning, that I know you all can produce. And so, what can the community do to support you all, even in terms of, and I know Brother Edward liked this part, supporting children who do not have the funds, or families who do not have the funds for the kids to go to the fitness center when they want to, use the facility at $5 a month. There should be some sponsorships or scholarship opportunities or something that the community can support.
We are the sponsorships. We make sure they get in.
Gotcha.
We pay that when you have one, and I do it all the time. They'll say, "Mammy, I only got $2." I'll tell the young ladies at the desk, "Don't worry about it. We got him. We got him. We got him." And like what you were saying, back up a little bit, April, because you were saying about with the community. I got a young lady. Matter of fact, I talked to her about I want to think it's been about a month ago. I ran into her in Walmart, and she stopped me. She said, "Miss Mamie, I wanna talk to you." And I said, "Okay, baby." I said, "Give me a second. Let me pay for my stuff." And she said, "Miss Mamie, I want to come in and do a class. I want to do a braiding class." And I said, "Get out of here." She said, "No, I'm for real. I'm for real." So I took her number. I talked to her. So we're getting ready to move on. Like when you say about the cultural thing, we're getting ready to start moving forward with all the other things that we have in our minds and the ideals. So yeah, where kids, when they come in, which that $5 or that $2 worth of change allows them to get all of that. Every bit, I mean, all of it. If it means the eating, the classes, the study hall, you name it, if we're giving it, all of that is taken care of. Oh, they're coming. When I say they come in, like we started, because when I started the study hall, I told them, and they, like I said, they know me because they know how I am. I said, "No." I said, they started coming in, they played the basketball. I said, "Oh no, we got to start the study hall." So we started, and thank God for Miss Deborah Van, teacher, and Mr. Lynch, teachers. They volunteered, and they would come in, but they really didn't want to do the study hall. But I told them, I said, "If you want to go on the court, You got to give us at least an hour in the study hall.
I like it.
You got to give us at least an hour. If you can't give us that hour, then you're not going on that court. So when they would come, and we knew when the grade time was, when they would come in, they know they had to pull up on the phone because of the computer. They had to show us, I passed this, I got that. Okay, if you messing up in something, okay, let's get Mr. Lynch and Miss Deborah to help you with the class that you're messing up in.
Absolutely. Yep.
So yes, we're doing things, because that's why that day when Mr. Falk said, y'all doing all that, I said, Mr. Falk, I said, let me tell you about Ashley Smith. If Ashley Smith can do it, he gonna do it. And he don't care about no black, no white thing, because we're out here for the kids. The kids need us. The community need us now, because it's a difference from when we was raised. Totally different. So yeah, you might have a couple of parents might get upset, but like most of them know me. I had one little girl, she talked so much noise to me, and when the mama came in and said, you talk that noise to Miss Me, you apologize right now. Apologize. I said, no, she can't. I said, leave her alone. I said, because at the end of the day, she start breaking down. Oh no, ma'am, I'm sorry. Okay. That's what it's about. That is what it's all about. So when we start having these classes, like you saying, cultural classes, art, painting, braiding hair, you name it, whatever else come to our mind, and we could fit it in. $5. That's why Ashley paid that extra. That's why I pay that extra, or Michael, or Junior, or Karen, or everybody at that front desk. If the kids don't have it, we pay it so we can make sure they get it.
Right. You mentioned volunteers. If there are people in the community who want to volunteer, should they just be in touch with you or Ashley?
Yes, they can just call and ask to speak to me, and oh yes, we will take them. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Yes.
One point I want to make about what parents can do. One is show up. The other is just support your child, because what we like to do with managing the study hall, if you come in and you got a C, then the next semester you make an A, we give them a membership. I'm working with Miss Livingston at Whittemore Park Middle School, and the kids that make A's and B's, they get a month membership, and if they make all A's, they get a free membership for a year.
I love that. Wow. You hear that, Marcus? I love that. Yeah.
So what we got is we want people to take ownership in our center. We just don't want to give a free meal or a free membership or whatever. We want them to come in, though it's their second home, to where if they see a piece of trash on the ground, they're going to pick it up. Because we want them to feel like this is their place, and they can come in and feel safe. And if somebody's acting up, it has really been people policing themselves. And that's what you need. You need a big brother to say, hey, don't mess it up for everybody.
Yes.
If it gets messed up, then it gets messed up.
Yes.
So, like I say, when you hear Mammy talk, it's infectious. I mean, I almost feel like going back to work right now, just get going, because she just gets fired up, and our whole staff, David Williams, Susan Beckton, everybody is on the same page, and we're going the same direction. And it's what we want. We want the community, the left side of the road, right side of the road, whatever crap people talk about.
Right.
My bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's one of those things that, what's frustrating with me with Smith Jones is, like, the right side of the road is the cities, and the left side is private property. And a lot of people don't know that. So I've been working with Miss Butler, who's my favorite person. She's so awesome. And we're working through some issues to try to get everybody together and say, hey, this is, because regular citizens, people don't know the dynamics of Smith Jones, and we probably don't have enough time to talk about it. But it's a sore spot for a lot of people because there's so many rules and so many things that people don't understand. But the only thing we can do is go with what we got and make it better. So again, we don't. It seems like something will happen, and then all talks break down, and nobody does anything. And it's just it's frustrating. That's why I'm glad I got people like Mammy on my side, Adam Emmerich on my side, and you get the support from administration and city council. City council has their drive, and I know it doesn't look like it, and it's hard. And I'm not telling lies because I've been on that side of it on city council. That it takes a lot to get some things done. That pool was May of 2020, I believe, And then COVID hit. Then some other stuff happened. And it's easy excuse, and I don't like making excuses. But what I understand, that the pool will be ready by next season. But in the meantime, what I want everybody to understand is that the kids in that neighborhood, in that area, less than a mile away, there's a swimming pool that's right there. That they're more than welcome to come. And parents, it's not 100 degrees in there. You don't have to get hit by the sun. It's air conditioned, and it's there for you. It's there for the public. And again, it's only a mile away. So that's what I want everybody to understand. That there are options besides Smith Jones. And once Smith Jones gets built, again, it's going to be a destination. And the community, City of Conway, everybody's going to be proud of the product that we put out there.
Well, I'm personally looking forward to it. And like Patricia Fuller said, you know, I know that there are some things that you aspire to do that will extend to the Smith Jones community. And, you know, and that's definitely what we want to see, because, and I know Mammy can think back to a time when Smith Jones read on a Sunday.
Yes.
Woo, that was the place to be. Okay.
Yes.
And it was just understood. It was just understood. That's what you do at a certain time of the day. Everybody would go to the rec and you park, and there was family and there were friends and community, and it was just a really good time. And unfortunately, we got away from that. But and that's the spirit that we want to get back. You know, in the Smith Jones community. I remember as a child growing up and going to Brownie Scout meetings and out at the Smith Jones rec when the building was out there and things like that. So you're right. Times have changed, and I know it makes all of us emotional when we think about the fact that, you know, we're having these highway divider conversations, and people who still have not embraced the idea that, you know, diversity, equity, and inclusion is very real, and it's something that, you know, we have to move towards. We also have to move more towards racial equity, and, you know, get away from all of the discord and everything that's happening around race, you know, and around opportunities for everyone, because there's still people who feel that, you know, if you come from a certain background, if you're low income, if you're underrepresented, underserved, that means that you represent a stereotypical type of person who does not deserve to have the kind of opportunities that you all are trying to create. And that is so far from the truth. And so, you know, you all keep doing what you're doing, keep introducing wonderful ideas and concepts through the Sports and Fitness Center. And as Ms. Fuller said, and I'm sure, you know, others will probably agree, when Smith Jones does come to fruition in the way that you all visualize, you know, we're going to make sure that those same things actually migrate over to the Smith Jones Center, and it is a place for everyone to come and embrace the culture, and we can get back to, or I won't say get back to those times, because I don't know that we will ever have those times again, but we can move forward to create some new memories and new times. And I just want to, you know, commend both of you for what you're doing. Mammy, I need you to put together a Mayday Play-Day. Like the old school Mayday Play Days that we used to have. Yeah, you need to do that with a sack race and all of that good stuff. Ashley, y'all need to do that.
That sounds good. You know what, April, and not cutting you off, because when Ashley asked me to come work there, I fought him off. But it brought me back to the memories of Smith Jones, because I worked at Smith Jones Rec whenever we had the building as well. Matter of fact, me, Hopper, and I worked there, and we did programming and set up stuff for the kids. So yeah, it brings back memories. So yes, Mammy will do what Mammy can do. And if it's Smith Jones, if it's Conway Ray, if it means we coming together and doing it, let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Yeah. Brother Edward, how do you feel about all this?
Well, I just think that again, I'll reiterate what I said earlier, that if I think a little more communicating with our correspondent Marcus to further get, you know, get the information out there, and it can be included on his broadcast here. I think that'll go a long way. Okay. Because what you guys have done, I mean, to me, I didn't hear anything about it. But I just think it's just tremendous what, the effort that they put in, and then the ideas that you're coming up with, with the egg hunt, stuff like that. I mean, that's, for lack of a better word, just ingenious.
Yeah, we thank you.
What's good about this, though, is what I like is that this is a learning point for me, because now I have avenues that I can get stuff out with Marcus and get it in the community, and that's what we want to do. There's no pride. I mean, I'm a prideful person for some things, but this right here, I'm not bigger than, hey, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. We're gonna make it work, and this right here is an opportunity that I see now that we can get better at, and we will get better at it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And April, I'm gonna be calling you so we can get it out there to get volunteers.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, we would be so glad to have them. Believe me. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
We'll send you guys some summer job students.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, we want
Sound like a winner.
We want to renew our ad also, so I think it's the best place to tell you.
Well,
And look, y'all make sure y'all look on my page, because I post everything.
I'll make sure to share. I'll share it on my page.
I don't do Facebook often, but when I do it, that's the way I go. And I put it out there, and people call me, when y'all what you doing here? And I go, okay, go to the city page or go to my page. That's what I tell them.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
All right, April.
Yeah, we got it now. We have it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what
We gotta have some more of these.
Oh, yes,
y'all need to
yes.
come on, for updates and to let us know what's going on, especially when you have some major events happening. Even if it's just to come on for 10 or 15 minutes to explain what you're doing, you're always welcome. Always.
We thank you. We thank
you guys. I appreciate everything, and 88 is great, by the way.
Tiger Fate 88. You know I love you, Ashley.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care.
All right. Bye-bye, y'all.
Take care.
Y'all have a blessing.
You too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
They're two wonderful people, I tell you. Janice and Ashley, and definitely two of the community's finest. They're icons to me. So I appreciate all they're doing. Marcus, this was good.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, we've had a couple people who were adamant about being on the show, but he literally made sure to stop me to bring it up, because he said the biggest issue they have, like he said, is people who are uninformed about what's taking place in the Parks and Rec department. Like he said, they just got the permit. I mean, they literally announced the city council. Everybody stood up and applauded. They got the permit at 2:00 on Monday to start work on the pool. They couldn't do anything without that.
So
permit.
they had that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they just got it on Monday, and they've applied for it for months. It's been sitting on somebody's desk for months and months and months, almost half a year. Since pools reopened. Literally, when the governor reopened for public pools and other things of that nature to be open, parks and recs, they submitted the request, and it's been sitting and waiting on somebody to approve it for that long.
Wow!
So people have been really hounding them about it. When they've done all they could do, they just had to wait on somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's like Miss Mammy said, if people understand what's taking place, that's where we'll become united and we'll become productive. All the divide, like you said, Ms. April, all the divide, that racial equity is what we need. The divide isn't going to help build anything. We can build a lot more together than we can building our own in separate ways. There's
unity and strength and unity.
That's right. Your neighbor can have something you need. You can have something your neighbor needs, and that's what we need. That community, that sense of old school community. Like you said, I've heard my mama talk about it multiple days. You go to Smith Jones on a Sunday.
I'm telling you.
She said Smith Jones on a Sunday was a place to be back in the day.
You would see people not only just from Conway, but I mean from all of the outlying areas, driving in from different places, and that's when Burgess and Bucksport and sometimes Georgetown and Marion and Loris, everybody came together out of Smith Jones. So yeah, those were the good old days. Good old days, but I'm glad they were, Brother Edward. Look, Coretta was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah, I saw that. Yes,
absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely. But this was good stuff, Marcus. Y'all, this was another great show. Really appreciate all the updates, Marcus. I am Brother Edward, I have a big program tomorrow, so I don't want us to go too long tonight. I need to get some rest.
Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
have thoroughly
Absolutely.
enjoyed this broadcast, and we'll be back next week with more information, as Marcus brings it in. And again, if you all have community events and happenings, and Mammy, yes, I'm going to go to your page to make sure we mention it even when you guys are not on the show. But if you have community events, especially if they're free to the public, make sure you drop us a line. You can hit me up on my page. You can message us through our website, WCMmagazine.net. You can go to the World Community Magazine page here on Facebook. There's a number of ways that you can, if you can get in touch with Marcus, be in touch with any one of us, and send a flyer so that we can show your event that's coming up, or let everyone know of what you need, like volunteers and different things. So, we just thank everyone for watching tonight. Thank all of our regulars, and spread the word about the broadcast. We're going to continue to bring good programming, and as long as Brother Edward and Sister Joella allow it, we'll continue doing what we're doing. We're
going to bring some news out there, man. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff out there that just needs to be heard. It didn't need to be heard. So, I would feel neglected, if you don't get it, So because everybody going to benefit.
Yeah, everybody will benefit. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So to our viewers, I know you got to leave, April. To our viewers, Godspeed until next week, same time, 7 p.m. We'll see you. We won't tell you who the guest is going to be. We'll let you know.
Exactly. But we'll be here. The three of us will be here.
We'll be here.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner.